What's up, Unlocking Your Inner Strength listeners? How would you like to know about the 3 types of days that you can use to maintain a healthy balance while still striving to be the best in the world at what you do? Well, I have good news for you. I've put together a special report showing you exactly how to do this. It's normally $45, but since you're a loyal listener to the show, you can get it for only $10 at unlockingyourinnerstrength.com/time.
You're listening to The Inner Strength Show. If you want to step into your greatness, you've come to the right place. Here is your host, the human strength expert, Kyle Newell.
What's up, everybody? It's Kyle once again with episode number 78 of Unlocking Your Inner Strength. You can also visit newellstrength.com or kylenewell.com to find out more information. What we're going to go through today are some breakthroughs with your brain. It's been a while since I've done just a brain-only episode, and I know that's something that a lot of you are interested in, and that it can also potentially have the biggest impact on you. So remember, you have to combine this stuff, this knowledge of the brain, with your knowledge of the body and nutrition and the other stuff I've been teaching you to put it all together. Let me start out by saying there's nothing that I believe that you can't do. The only limits we have are the limits on our self-belief. And within the scope of open architecture is this idea that if you can have the thought, your brain knows that it's possible. So if you can have the thought somewhere in your brain, you know it's possible. And I'm going to go over why we get stuck and why we don't fulfill those self-promises and thoughts. But with open architecture, you don't think about stuff that you know is not possible. For example, if I wanted to be the center for the LA Lakers, that's not possible. Don't have the skill set. I'm not tall enough. I don't picture myself just flying around levitating. Not possible. But I do picture us having the best gym in the world. That's possible. I do picture myself writing more books. That's possible. So it's all within the scope of open architecture. When we go to set goals, a lot of times we put these arbitrary time limits and timelines on the goals. Many times it's too far out into the future. We don't stretch and push ourselves enough. But to the brain, time does not exist. And what I mean by that, and I'll give you an example, is if you think back to one of the worst moments of your life, think back to one of the most frustrating or scary moments of your life. Now that you have the thought, how quick did you go there? So if I think about when I ruptured my patellar tendon or the second one, I can go there instantly and picture everything about that night, picture the pain and feel the pain. I go there instantly. So time does not exist to the brain. Okay. It's projections when we're thinking of the future, and it's memories when we're thinking of the past. So my point in telling you that is that you can have success much quicker than you think you can. Now, let's do a quick review of how the brain actually works. You have 3 layers of the brain. You have the reptile brain, which is the brain stem. It's the deepest part of your brain. That's food and survival and sex. Pure survival. That's where road rage comes from, that part of your brain. Then we have the mammal part of the brain, which is emotion, memory, connection. Okay? That's the real animal part of our brain. And then you have the prefrontal cortex, the human part of your brain, which allows us to think forward-thinking thought, logical thought, to achieve self-actualization, goal setting. That's that part of your brain. Now, anytime we're setting out to do something, you got to realize that the mammal and the human are going to battle. They oppose each other. So if you're overly emotional, logic is going to go out the window. If you're a workaholic and super type A, emotion levels can dampen down, and your level of joy is going to go down, and it's going to have all these cascading effects. That's super, super, super important. All decisions we make are usually based on emotion at first. So you need to be able to filter that, take a step back, and really give it some thought. So when we set goals, usually, let's think about New Year's that just passed. Most people set these New Year's resolutions, and they're really excited when they come up with these goals. And they don't see how there's any possibility that they won't achieve these goals, but they're emotional in that state. What they're not weighing is the opportunity cost. What's it going to cost you to achieve what you want to achieve? And there is a cost, whether it's time, it's sacrificing time, doing something else, maybe one of your other hobbies, but there's a big cost to that. Now, most people don't take that into account. The brain loves patterns. essentially, okay? Prediction and response. If we, at the start of setting goals, take into account the opportunity cost, we've now predicted, okay, what it's going to take, which is going to help move us along. Most people start out with that uninformed optimism, which is really emotional. And as soon as they hit a dip, as soon as they hit that first wall, they're out. They can't take it because they did not take a time to think about the pattern that's going to come. And I can tell you the pattern when you're going after any goal is that resistance is going to jump up and fight you. And that's usually where most people give up. You're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to hit stuff you don't know how to do. And that is fine. You just have to expect it. It's going to come. With the idea of open architecture, okay, that's the human part of the brain. And with that, we also need to remember that we can suspend disbelief to a degree. What's up, Unlocking Your Inner Strength listeners? How would you like to know about the 3 types of days that you can use to maintain a healthy balance while still striving to be the best in the world at what you do? Well, I have good news for you. I've put together a special report showing you exactly how to do this. It's normally $45, but since you're a loyal listener to the show, you can get it for only $10 at unlockingyourinnerstrength.com/time. So when we suspend disbelief, just like when we watch a movie, we need to use that to our advantage when we're setting goals, and that we might not know how to do the thing yet. But what if we could do the thing? Because we could figure out the answers. There's always somebody to turn to that can guide you, or you can learn. And there's things I want to pass off all the time, and it's really just because I don't know how to do it. And I've gotten better at saying, wait a minute, step back, learn it some more, master it, then you can pass it off. Now, the mammal part of the brain, many times we won't set goals big enough or set goals at all because it's very, very threatened by this idea of judgment. And the reason that is, if you go back the way the brain evolved, when you judged me, let's say I was in your tribe and you moved me to the outside of the pack, your chance for survival is going to go way down. If we judge you enough or you judge me enough that you kick me out of the pack or the tribe, my chance for survival is going to go even further down. Everything the brain does, every thought it has, every decision and action it dictates is based around this idea of survival. Everything. The way your nervous system responds, it's all about survival. When setting goals, we don't even realize that we're very sensitive to this judgment, and that's why we don't think big enough sometimes. And I'm not talking about massive action. You got to keep chopping this stuff down. But realizing that we can have a superb and great life, the judgment piece comes in and says, what if I fail? People are going to look down upon me. And no, they won't. Most people live mediocre lives, and they do so because they don't want to think out to what is possible. They're too worried about perceived judgment because of possible failure. You're going to fail. Like I said, you got to weigh the opportunity cost. You're going to fail on the way to whatever it is you're trying to do. That's how you learn. Expect that. You're going to face resistance. Resistance only shows up when we're going from a higher level, okay, to the next higher level. Meaning if I wanted to create a third and fourth Newell strength, a fifth Newell, I'm going to hit a lot of resistance. I'm trying to climb up. I'm trying to create something that's going to be legendary one day. Now, if I just said, okay, you know what, I'm going to throw in the towel, I'm going to go work at the local McDonald's, there's going to be zero resistance. That's going to be very easy to do. So resistance only shows up when we're trying to climb to the higher sphere. Now, bouncing back to the human part of the brain, think of like a claw that's going up a mountain of dirt, and it's a rotating claw. There's a bunch of claws on this tread, just like a tank would have. The human brain needs a way to measure progress. We cannot improve that which we do not measure. We cannot improve that which we do not measure. Very important to remember that. I'm of the belief now that we need to set shorter term goals, 90-day goals. We do that in one of the masterminds that I'm in. And I set it for fitness, fun, focus, family, and finance. So I have one for each. And breaking that down further, I think we need to look at the measurables at the very least on a weekly basis, because then we can course correct. If you wait to the end of that 90 days to look at what you've done, you're probably not going to have achieved it, and it's going to be too late. So the human part of your brain craves measurement because it can course correct, okay? It can course correct. If you think of how an airplane flies, let's say I was going to fly from New Jersey to Hawaii, it's going to be off course more than 90% of the time, but it's going to get to its destination because it continues to course correct and it knows where it's going. It's continuing to take in measurements, latitude, longitude, altitude, all this type of stuff. Very important to remember that. You possess inside that head of yours the most magnificent piece of computing software and hardware ever created. It can do so many things. It is so powerful. When you visualize, your brain doesn't know the difference, or your body, your nervous system doesn't know the difference between if you're actually imagining that or actually doing the thing. Have you ever said, okay, I got to wake up at a certain time, and you get up 5 minutes before that time automatically? Your brain is a super, super incredible processor that is capable of astounding things if we allow it to do its thing and use it for the great tool that it is. Hopefully that helps you with your goal setting. Don't hesitate to reach out to me, Kyle@newellstrength.com, if you have questions, or you can post them on my Facebook page at Kyle Newell Fitness Expert. That's the public figure page for Kyle Newell. If there's any topics you want me to cover, don't hesitate to let me know. And if you have not yet done so, please leave a review on iTunes. That helps me out greatly. It'll only take you a couple of seconds. And share this with anybody that can use a positive word or somebody that's just curious about how the brain and the body work. Thank you for all the support. I'll be back next week. Peace.
You've been listening to The Inner Strength Show. If you enjoyed the show, remember to subscribe, rate, and review us in iTunes.